Before we even talk about SQL, let me ask you something very simple. Did you ever buy anything online, swipe your bank card, look for exam results, or even just scroll through your phone contacts? If so, congratulations, you have used a database. So whether you're in school, university, working an office job, using available public resources, or running a side hustle, databases are everywhere in your life, even if you never see them. So every single time you order food via the famous apps Uber Eats, Mr. D Food, you get a text message from your bank, pay with SnapScan at the corner shop, there is a database working quietly behind the scenes. Now, here's the big reason why functioning companies are using databases. Because companies such as banks, stores, government, social media apps have to organize, fetch, and store a ton of information all the time. Information such as who their customers are, the most sold product in the past year or month, who placed an order, when they placed the order, which items are in stock. No company can remember all of that just by using pen and paper, at least not long enough. Here's the catch. If you just write down random facts such as names, numbers, items, that is raw data. But data alone is useless unless it is organized. So imagine a messy desk with random notes everywhere. 100 Rand, delivery to Takealot-style, Air Max size 7. If you can't see who paid 100 Rand for what, who stays at Takealot-style, and whose MX this is, and from which platform, and where this MX is coming from, what's the point? So you need an organized system, and that's the job of a database. So a database is not a mystical cloud only for programmers, it's for everyone. It's a smart, organized virtual filing cabinet. In a database, information is stored in tables. Think of it like Excel spreadsheets, but super powered. So for example, in a school setting, a database they might include these following tables. Student table, that would have the student ID, right? And name, surname, their address, who they can contact if anything is wrong, or their parents' information. The teachers table, which would also include the teacher's information, their qualifications, when they started their job, and maybe the results table. That would include the student ID with their test IDs and their test scores. Another example is a database for a shop. Ideally, the tables in that database would include the orders table, what did they buy, when, and how much. Customers table, who buys. Products table, how much is sold, how much stock do we have for certain products, and etc. So every table is focused on one thing or one object, which is why the database stays tidy and powerful. So let's dive into a real world example. We all know Takealot, South Africa's online store, right? If you were to order noise cancelling headphones, this is what would happen or would be happening in the database. So there would be a customer's table with your details. So for example, customer ID 17, Kuda Christine with my address. Why? Because it's essential to know where these products are going. There would be a products table. This products table would include all the products that they have at Takealot or that Takealot's app is showing on their front end screen. So it will include products like the headphones, all kinds of laptops they offer or they're selling, the products that the vendors are selling through Takealot. So when you now buy something like the noise cancelling headsets, right? It now goes into a table called the orders table. So that would look something like this: the order ID, the customer ID, and the product ID. But notice this, your address is not saved in every order. It is stored once in the customers table. So the orders table would ideally just store the customer's ID and the product ID. So why is this better, and why would we want to use IDs instead of putting the customer's details and product details in the orders table itself? For the following reasons: if a customer's address changes, we would only need to change it in one table, which is the customer's table. So if Kuda's address changes, I'd go to the customers table and I'd change the address where Kuda is the name, right? Kuda Christine is the name, instead of updating it in all the orders that Kuda has ever made in the orders table. If the price changes in the products table, you would only need to change it once in the products table. If you want to see the order history or all the orders that Kuda has ever made, we'd need to join the orders and the customers table using the customer ID. If you want to see how well headphones sell, you join the orders table and the products table using product ID. This way, we ensure information is up to date, no duplication, no confusion, and much faster to search. So those IDs that we've been talking about, such as the customer ID, product ID, orders ID, is what we call keys. They are unique values that connect the tables together. So it's unique by that in the customers table, we cannot have two customer IDs that are 17 and 17 because we've already allocated 17 to me, Kuda Christine, right? So think of them like barcodes. Instead of your name everywhere, the barcode tells the system who or what we mean. So when you hear words like foreign key, primary key in the next episodes to come, just remember it's a clever way of connecting tables together whilst keeping each table focused and tidy. We also get different kinds of databases. Not all databases are the same. So the companies choose which database suits them best, and that's how they would implement their database system. So we've got relational databases, NoSQL databases, and spreadsheets. So with relational databases, they store information in tables and it's best for organized data. So you'd ideally use such databases in fields such as banking, shopping, and schools. An example database tools would be Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, PostgreSQL. Then we get the NoSQL database, such as MongoDB and Firebase. It's more flexible and it's more for projects that need fast changes or lots of unstructured data. So an example there would be messaging. Then we get spreadsheets such as your Excel, Google Sheets. This is more for small and personal data, just not powerful enough for big companies. If you have not already gotten the hint, we are starting a new series, SQL for Data Analytics. And in the next coming videos, we will be dealing with relational databases using Microsoft SQL Server as the tool or the SQL management software. Why? Because that's what runs most successful businesses, and that's where analytics live. So why do companies need databases to survive? Imagine if a bank lost your payment history, or Takealot mixed up all the orders and all the deliveries. First of all, databases are more of a software thing and less a hard copy thing, meaning it's not on paper. Of course, you can print out the results from a database onto a paper. For example, if you did something on Excel, you're able to download that and see it in paper. Things that are not stored electronically are most likely to get damaged due to natural hazards, such as a fire starting at a school. So because of databases, that is why your grades are safe, payments go to the right person, orders get delivered to the right people, your Spotify app or your Apple Music app knows whose music or playlist this belongs to. All this because of well-designed and organized databases. So if a business has bad databases, it loses money, it breaks trust, and probably fails. So if you learn databases, you can work almost anywhere because every sector uses databases. The health sector, the banking sector, schooling system, the department, the police department, and etc. And a whole lot of other departments make use of databases. So you can work almost anywhere and build projects that actually last. So to wrap it up, databases are the backbone of a lot of these modern companies, big or small. They turn data into useful information. This brings us to the end of the video. Do hit the subscribe button. It's completely free. and look out for the next episodes to come. We have officially started a new series, and the next episode will be describing what SQL actually is and the important terms you need to keep in mind whilst going through each episode of the series. The episode right after that will be what we need to install and how to go about installing all the tools we'll be using in the series. So guys, please do stay tuned, subscribe so that you don't miss a video. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.